What are the hidden emotional costs of divorce? Frankly, I don't think there are too many that are hidden. Divorce is going to take a huge toll on you and take a huge toll on your children. And you need to seek help where it's needed. Going through a divorce is like losing a loved one. You're going to have stress. It mirrors the loss of a loved one. You should be in therapy because talking to your friends and talking to your attorney, those aren't objective opinions, and you need objectivity, both in examining yourself and examining your relationship going forward with your soon-to-be ex. And your children too. The children can't be ignored. Even if you think they're doing okay, you should sit them down with a therapist or a social worker just so you know they have someone to speak to. Kids are going to tell you what you want to hear, and they're going to tell your spouse what they want to hear. They're going to say, I love being with you. And they're going to tell your spouse, I love being with you. But they need to speak to somebody to say, what is this doing to me? And they're going to help that communication. They're going to help give your children a voice to speak to you about how they're hurting. Divorce's effect on daily life. The most obvious one is finances. You now have double the expenses with the same amount of money, meaning eventually the two of you aren't going to live together anymore, but the same money now has to support two households. Yes, there's the payment of child support. There may be the sharing of bills, but one of you moved out and got a new apartment or a new house and has to pay all those expenses as well. And with that comes a lot of stress. Long-term financial impacts of divorce. Yeah, I mean, it's fairly obvious. Whatever you've earned together that was going to take you through retirement is now being cut in half, essentially. You're going to have to restart. You're going to have to rebuild. But there's a way to view this with a plan. I think every person going through a divorce needs to sit down with a financial planner. Not just look at what's happening tomorrow. You need to look at the end goal. How am I getting to retirement? How can I supplement my income? What do I have to do? Too many people go through a divorce and say, I'm not going to let my life change. It is going to change. And you have to have that reality. What's a real life lesson that I've seen one of my clients learn? One jumps out in my mind. I sat down with a potential client many, many years ago, and she sat down to tell me how her husband just didn't listen to her, didn't do what she wanted, wouldn't follow her instructions with regard to money, with regard to household chores, and it culminated the night before with her asking him to leave. I'm being polite. She threw him out. And she came in and she asked me for advice. And I looked at her and I said, have you done everything you can to make sure that this divorce is necessary? She looked at me with shock. And I said, do you really want to be divorced? And she said, no, I don't want to be divorced. I said, have you gone to therapy? Have you given it everything you can? She didn't go to therapy. We had a long, long talk. And she was surprised because I'm a divorce lawyer. And I said, our job is not to break up your marriage. Our job is to protect you if your marriage is over. Well, she went back home. She talked to her husband. The two of them decided to give it another shot. And she called me and told me that. And that was a really happy day in our firm. If you're in New York and you need assistance with these kind of issues, call us at the Sklavos Law Group.